Let's begin with redundancy and let's have a look at these two examples. Located in Midland County, Michigan, the Chippewa Nature Center is one of the most prominent and well-known nature centers in the United States. My first question is, what is the meaning of prominent? It means well-known. It's the same thing. So you don't need to repeat this again. You need to ask yourself whether this word is it adding any value to the rest of the sentence or not. No, it is not adding any value. So we don't need this word. Prominent is serving the purpose. Now let's have a look at the option choices. See, the first thing that you need to do is evaluate the statement yourself and then move on to the option choices. So A, no change is definitely wrong. Prominently well known, it's the same thing. It's like redundancy again. So this is wrong. Prominent plus being well known, this is way too wordy. And again, you're not adding any value to the statement. So this is wrong as well. Prominent, yes, D is the correct answer. We just need one word. Either use prominent or use well known. Example 2. Located in Midland County, Michigan, the Chippewa Nature Center is one of the most prominent American nature centers that is known by many people in the United States. Again, my question remains the same. What is the meaning of prominent? It means well known. Well known means known by many people in the United States. Again, ask yourself, is it adding any value to the rest of the sentence? And your answer will be no, it's not adding any value. Even if you delete this, would there be any impact on the rest of the sentence? No, it will remain the same. So now let's have a look at the option choices. No change. No, definitely we can have a better option. Being known by many Americans, again wrong because it's the same thing that's being talked about in option choice A as well. Secondly, please be very careful of this verb being. Whenever you come across this verb, 99% of the times this option choice will be wrong because it is not liked by the SAT examiners. Just remember this. Third one, known by many people there, completely wrong. It doesn't make any sense. Fourth one, omit the underlined portion. Yes, this is what we need to do. Even if you delete the underlined portion, the rest of the sentence will make perfect sense. Let's have a look at wordiness. Example 1. During the Nimrod expedition to the South Pole in 1907, Ernest Shackleton led a group of explorers on a dangerous voyage. Okay, it's a good expression. No change. We don't know. Let's see. Let's have a look at other option choices because this seems good. A voyage of a dangerous sort. It means exactly the same thing. It is a dangerous voyage. So this seems a little wordy and again, it is not adding any extra value. A voyage whose nature was dangerous. Oh my God. This is really fancy, but again, it means the same thing. We are not adding any value. A voyage that was dangerous in itself. All these option choices, they mean exactly the same thing as is already in option choice A. It is shorter, it is precise, and it makes perfect sense. Hence, our option choice should be A. Let's have a look at this past paper question. People were unprepared for the sinking of the Titanic simply because of believing that the ship was unsinkable. Now, this is basically the issue over here. It's a gerund. What are gerunds? I will talk about gerunds in my next video. Please don't get confused. ING words are basically called gerunds. And the ING word is not used correctly over here. So definitely option choice A is wrong. This is basically no change. And how do you convert a gerund into an infinitive form? Basically, infinitive form is the normal form. Again, I will talk about this in my next video. Please don't confuse yourself. I just want to convert this into a normal verb form because the gerund is not used correctly over here. And how do you convert a gerund into an infinitive verb? Basically, you add a noun or a pronoun plus a verb. That's how you convert ing forms into a normal infinitive form. So that means you can easily eliminate option choice A and B because they do not contain any noun or pronoun. C and D both have pronouns. And who are they? They are basically the people who believed. People were unprepared for the sinking of the ship simply because they believed. So they in this scenario are the people. That's perfectly fine. Now let's have a look at option choice C and D. Simply because they believed that the ship was unsinkable, it makes sense. They believed the unsinkable nature of the ship. Oh my god, this is way too wordy. Definitely we won't be using this. So option choice C is the correct answer. When you can simply explain things with like fewer words, you don't need to use fancy vocabulary. It is not needed. And again, you're not adding any value in option choice D. Now let's talk about active and passive voice before I move on to their questions. Please remember that both of them are grammatically correct, active and passive voice, but in SAT, active voice is preferred. And why is it preferred? I'll talk about it in detail. Now let's have a look at this first. Sally drove her car off the road. So the first thing that you need to understand is what's the difference between active voice and passive voice. The difference is in active voice, you always have the subject first. Then you have the action, that is the verb. And finally, we have the object on which the action is taking place. The subject is basically talking about the object. This is the pattern which is preferred by the SAT exam. Please remember this. You have the subject followed by verb followed by object. Now let's have a look at passive voice and see what happens over here. Let me change the color. Okay, the car was driven off the road by Sally. Now the order is changed. Now, see, grammatically it's fine. But now we have the object first, then we have the action which is the verb, and then we have the subject. Always remember, subject should come first. That's what SAT is teaching us. Now, why is this preferred? Because you see, this is more wordy and you're not adding any value. This is the first thing. Secondly, you are basically changing the focus of the sentence. My focus is always on the subject. This is what the SAT expects. Sally drove her car off the road. Very simple, straight to the point. Now this is more wordy. The car was driven off the road by Sally. Oh, please remember this. Let's have a look at another example as well. The dog bit Timmy on the arm. Now you don't even need to look at these. You know the dog is basically the subject, the main focus. Bit is basically the verb and Timmy is basically the object. You see, subject, verb, object. Whereas in passive voice, Timmy becomes the subject. Now you see, although it's the object, you know, but in this sentence, this is becoming the subject. The focus is changed. You see, the focus gets changed. Was bitten. Now this is basically the verb over here and the dog, our subject, becomes the object. You see, the order is changed. That is why active voice is always preferred. Please remember this. Let's evaluate this example. During the Nimrud expedition to the South Pole in 1907, a group of explorers were led on a dangerous voyage by Ernest Shackleton. Please do not read the option choices. Evaluate the sentence yourself first. And you will see you have a clue over here. Ernest Shackleton should be the subject of the sentence. It should be the focus. Whereas it is acting as an object right now. And group of explorers should be the object, but it is acting as the subject right now. It should be the other way around. The sentence should read something like this. During the Nimrud expedition to the South Pole in 1907, Ernest Shackleton did something. That's how it should be like. Now let's evaluate the option choices. So A is definitely wrong. I am not going with A. A group of explorers being led. Being, again, I told you if you come across this verb, most of the times it will be wrong. Plus a group of explorers, again, the object is coming first. So option choice B is also wrong. Let's evaluate option choice C. During the Nimrud expedition to the South Pole in 1907, Ernest Shackleton led a group of explorers on a dangerous voyage. We have the subject first, then we have the object. It makes perfect sense. But let's read option choice D as well. A dangerous voyage that Ernest Shackleton led a group of explorers on. Oh my God, what? I don't know what's happening over here. Option choice C is definitely the correct answer.